These are going to be the top 5 jobs facing catastrophic worker shortages right now, and I promise you at least one of them fits you. Now, one of them pays its top seats over $210,000 a year. Some need 0 college. Others may require college, but they don't really care what degree you get. And a few are so short-staffed that they will literally train you even if you're a total beginner. And this is coming from someone who went $300,000 in student loan debt for a doctorate and learned the hard way that the college degree system isn't always what it promises, and then spent the last decade building the career channel that I wish that I had when I was 18. And my business partners and I have over 1,000 verified testimonials of people that we helped get their dream jobs. And the truth is, most people run at the popular jobs because those are the ones that you hear about and line up behind everybody else. But the smarter move is running at the empty seats. When an industry cannot find workers, the whole relationship inverts, and suddenly the company is the one applying to get your attention. So whether you just got laid off, or you're stuck in work that you hate, you skipped college, or you're a parent heading back in, or you're starting over at 45, there's going to be a job in this list that's going to appeal to you. And every stat today has a named source on the screen with examples and receipts, no lazy AI slop. And the one that I would personally pick if I was starting over is going to be hiding near the end of the list. So if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want to see me make more of it in the future, then let me know by gently cheersing that like button, and let's jump in right now. Okay, so let's start with a job called an ocularist. Now, this is a real job, and these are basically people who hand make and hand paint prosthetic eyes. Now, I consider this to be a healthcare related job, and there are literally thousands of these micro, tiny, unknown healthcare related jobs in the United States. And then on top of that, a lot of the jobs have specialties, and then some of the specialties have subspecialties. Now, I'm gonna be going over ocularists today. However, I highly recommend that you check out this website called explorehealthcareers.org because it'll go over a bunch of the other jobs where there might only be like a few thousand people in the United States. You never hear about them, but they're still really good. With that being said, let's talk about the ocularist. So when somebody loses an eye to cancer or a car accident, an ocularist is the person who makes them a new one that matches so well that most people can't tell. Now, I think one of the most interesting examples of this is UFC fighter Michael Bisping, who actually fought a significant amount of his career with only one eye. And nobody knew until after he retired and he was done fighting, which is pretty epic. And that means he literally won a championship in the UFC with only one eye. And I'm pretty sure he's the only guy to ever do that. So shout out to him. Now, the fastest way to understand this job is a video from Insider Tech called How Prosthetic Eyes Are Made and Fitted. And there's another video from Dr. Peter Goggin, who's a senior ocularist at Mooresfield Eye Hospitals. In this video, he talks about the work done by the prosthetic department and how they work with patients to match and supply prosthetics to enable patients some form of symmetry to the facial area. However, according to an article from The Reader, there are fewer than 200 certified ocularists in the entire United States, which means there are more than twice as many NBA players as there are people who make prosthetic eyes in this country. And there are entire states that have exactly one ocularist, and some states have 0. And the professional society for this job has about 262 members across the entire world. And it's not because people are failing to get in, it's because almost nobody on earth knows that this career exists, so almost nobody is lining up for it. And the current generation is aging towards retirement with an almost empty line behind them. Now, let's talk about the money. Industry salary data puts experienced ocularists around $100,000 a year, and the ones who own their own practice can do better than that. And in high demand areas, it can go up to $150,000 to $198,000 a year. Now, I will say with a lot of the careers that I talk about today, both the healthcare careers, as well as many trades related careers, the reported amounts of money that you make, especially with ones where there's not a lot of jobs, almost always the reality is higher than the reported amount, which is the opposite of a lot of jobs out there. For instance, some people will say, oh, plumbers only make $70,000 a year, when in reality, just about anybody who's a plumber in most states, especially if you're in an area that's a little bit higher cost of living, is making significantly more than that. And there are many reasons for this. One of the main ones being that a lot of trade or blue collar related careers get paid in cash, and sometimes that doesn't get reported. But the way into becoming an ocularist is simpler than you think. You don't need a college degree. You learn this by apprenticing under a working ocularist. And with this few people in the field, the line in front of you is basically empty. And the weirder the job sounds, the less competition that you have for it. Now, notice something that's going to repeat in this whole video. The jobs that nobody can fill are the exact jobs millions of people love watching online, right? They're fascinating. Okay, so empty seats in the shop, packed houses on the screen. Keep that in your back pocket because more on that later. All right, the second we're gonna talk about is a registered nurse. Now, we're going to the opposite end of the spectrum. One of the most common careers in the United States and probably worldwide as well, and it's probably one that pretty much everybody watching this has heard about as well. But the National Council of State Boards of Nursing says that more than 138,000 nurses have left since the pandemic, and 40% of the ones left, about 1.6 million nurses, plan to leave by 2029. Now, there are reasons for that. Nursing is very difficult, right? It is a tough job. I have a massive amount of respect for nurses out there. They are the backbone of the healthcare industry without a doubt. But HRSA, the Federal Health Workforce Agency, projects America will be short 267,000 registered nurses by 2028. And that is a hole in the middle of the healthcare system. And this one is personal for me because I spent years as a pharmacist working right next to a lot of nurses and watching them hold entire hospitals together with their bare hands. And nobody in that building works harder than the nurses. And nurses don't go through any of this quietly. Some of them have turned the shift into content, and the internet shows up for it like nobody else. For instance, there's a nurse named Mickey Rye. Apologies if I'm saying the name wrong. Maybe it's Mickey Ray. But she shows the job from inside, and a video of her real 12-hour shift has around 822,000 views. And the channel overall has 1.4 million subscribers. And nurses basically run your hospital care hour to hour, from medications to keeping you alive at 3 in the morning. And according to BLS, which is a great source of data, but it is also a flawed source of data as well, just because of the fact that in many cases, it actually lumps together a bunch of different careers. The median pay for nurses is about $93,600 a year, and the top 10% nurses clear $135,000 a year. And there's a lot of other different types of nurse specialties, and just like many of the other ones on this list, when there is a supply and demand imbalance, which there's already a structural supply and demand imbalance in nursing, but some of the specialties have even more of a supply and demand imbalance, you can get paid even more. So just as an example, Abby here filmed 3 night shifts in a row, and that one vlog pulled over 200,000 views. Now, one of my community members, Nurse Jen here, discovered my content recently, a few months ago, and she was exactly one of these burned out nurses. And she saw how so many normal people were starting YouTube channels and making second incomes or side incomes from YouTube, and sometimes even turning it into a full-time business. And she saw that I was having a live training teaching other people how to do it. And I'm actually having another live training this week, so click the link in the description in the pinned comment below. But she attended my live training, she joined my community, and just a couple months later, she had a video pop off, get over 600,000 views. She's making a full-time income, and she was able to quit her job as a nurse and travel all over the United States in her camper van, which was literally her dream. And I know that it doesn't look like it because she looks so young. I really need her skincare routine, but she's actually 60 years old. And I just had a conversation with her last week, and she told me that she made $10,000 this month just from AdSense alone. So she went from zero to making over $10,000 a month in just a few months. And she quit her job by posting on YouTube. And I'm gonna reveal exactly how she did all of that, the exact system that she used, and the exact AI that she used to pick her niche, right? So this is an AI that's been trained on thousands of hours of us helping people pick their ideal niche, or if they already have a niche, helping them make it 10 times better. And I'll be giving it away completely free at this live training. So do not miss out. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend this week. And I look forward to seeing you there. You can ask me questions before, during, and after the live training, and I try to answer every single question. Quick break. I'm gonna be doing a live training this week on how to start YouTube step-by-step for beginners. This is gonna be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at this training. Just as an example, I'm gonna be giving away my niche validator, which works for ChatGPT, as well as Claude Skills, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss out on it forever. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below this week. Make sure you put it on your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
All right, next one is going to be an electrician. And this might be the single best bet on the whole list. And this one also hits close to home because my brother Zach spent his career in the trades, and he told me that if he had to do it over again, he probably would have become an electrician. Now, the BLS projects about 81,000 electrician openings every single year for the next decade. And Fortune just called this shortage a life or death threat to the AI data center boom. Now, a lot of people don't like these AI data centers, but again, I'm not here to judge, I'm just here to tell you where the shortages are. But these are basically the people who install and fix the wiring in everything from your kitchen to a server farm. And BLS pay runs about $62,350 in the middle and over $106,000 for the top 10% before overtime. And remember, I told you before that almost all the time, these reported numbers are significantly lower than the reality of the situation. For instance, according to Glassdoor, master electricians or electrical foremen make $80,000 to $120,000 plus per year. And when a trade runs this short on people, the ones teaching it start blowing up online. And that's why a channel called Electrician U, run by a working electrician named Dustin, blew up. And a lot of people now want to learn to be electricians. And he got 939,000 subscribers with this channel. And one video, 5 formulas that electricians should have memorized, has over 1.4 million views. And that one video, just from the ads that showed on the channel, made $6,700 according to view stats. So yes, people want to watch videos on YouTube to learn the trades, and traditional school is no longer the only option. Now, in order to become an electrician, it's going to be different depending on the state you live in, the region you live in, whether it's union or non-union, all kinds of different factors like that. And so it's not always straightforward. And that's the reason why my brother started his channel, Zach of All Trades, so that he can help people pick the right trade for them, get into the trades, and make big time money. And his very first video that he posted on his channel blew up, got over 800,000 views. And the reasons why his very first video blew up, getting 822,000 views, even though he looks like A in the video, is because people are hungry to learn the trades. And I mean, Zach never had any experience with YouTube, never recorded a single video in his life, and he doesn't even know how to set up his own camera. He is not tech savvy at all. Plus, he's in his 50s. So he did not think YouTube was gonna work for him, but he wanted to learn how to make money outside of the trades because he was getting a bit old and it was wearing on his body, which is one of the downsides of getting into the trades, which is why I recommend electrician, because electrician is one of the ones that's easier on the body. But it didn't really matter. He posted that video, and 29 days later, he made $214 in a single day from AdSense. That's a $78,000 a year run rate. So he literally went from zero to a full-time income in less than 1 month. And he did it all teaching stuff that's common sense to him, right? And that's one thing I also wanted to say about Nurse Jen, right? What she was teaching is not rocket science. It is common sense to her, but it's not common sense to 95% of people out there. This is stuff that she was telling her patients on a day-to-day basis over and over again, and stuff that was boring to her, but it's super useful and super helpful to other people out there. And all she had to do is just say the same exact things on camera and broadcast it to the world, and now she's making a full-time income from that. And it's the same exact thing for Zach. This stuff is common sense for him. He tells you the pros and cons of the different trades because almost all of his friends are in the trades. He's been in the trades himself for 30 years, so it's common sense to him. Oh, and by the way, last month he had a record month making over $18,000. And also, I've watched this pattern play out hundreds of times because it's not just my brother. There are tons of other people that have done this with all kinds of random different careers. Many of these people I actually interviewed on my channel for the career, and then I helped them start YouTube channels to help other people get into the jobs as well. And this is significantly more effective than the existing outdated modern education system. Speaking of the education system, one of the members, Dr. Clifford Stumey, built his channel around getting kids into the right college degrees so that they can get the right career that they need, and doing it incredibly quickly. He was able to graduate with his college degree significantly faster than most people do, and he helps them pick the right online colleges for them. And he was able to do that because he did it himself first. He went to online college in order to advance his career, and he figured out that you can graduate a lot faster if you go to certain types of colleges, get certain types of degrees, and test out of certain classes, and then he helps other people do it as well. And it's not just education. It can be the software that you already use at work every day. And there are entire channels that do nothing but teach QuickBooks. For instance, Hector Garcia is a real CPA, and his full QuickBooks tutorial alone has over 2 million views. because every small business owner in America needs what he already knows. Oh, and that video made him over $10,000 in ad revenue alone. And by the way, a little secret here, the money you make from ads on YouTube is a tiny fraction of the overall money that you can make. For instance, we make a lot of money from AdSense on our channel, but it's about 3% of our overall income because there's lots of other ways to monetize your channel. And that's something I'm going to be covering in the live training that I'm doing this week. So again, click that link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend that live training. I look forward to seeing you there. And by the way, it's not just tools or software that you use every day at work. It works for making money online as well. Like Sean, for instance, who's a community member of mine, who was able to make over $1 million on what's known as Amazon KDP, which is basically publishing books online, specifically books on Amazon. And then he started teaching other people how to make money with Amazon KDP as well. And when he first started working with me, he was stuck making $30,000 a month with his business, and we helped him scale all the way to $500,000 in a single month. But it doesn't have to be about a job or making money. It can just be your hobbies as well. Just like Nathan, for instance, one of our community members who teaches busy adults how to improve their chess ratings, and specifically to get to a 2000 chess rating. And right after starting with us, Nathan was able to go from 0 to a full-time income with this channel. And I could just go on and on and on. None of these people are special. They're just using the same playbook that I'm giving you today. So yes, there's good money in every job on this list, but there's arguably better money in being the person who documents the job or helps people get into the job or helps people learn the skills for the job or helps people learn the software that you need to know in order to do the job, etc., etc., etc. There is billions in the boring, guys. I know this stuff is super boring, but boring means there's way less competition and it's significantly easier to get off the ground and start a legitimate side income. And by the way, some of them do this just to build their brand in their field, and then they let better jobs find them. A great example of that is Josh Madakor. So when I first met him, he was barely making any money from his channel, less than $1,000 a month. And he wasn't really even planning on making money from the channel. He was basically just making videos that were extremely helpful for people in the IT and cybersecurity niche. Basically videos on what certificates or certifications to get, what college degrees to get, what makes a good portfolio, whether or not you need to get a college degree, and how to get the best jobs, the career path progressions, etc., etc. And he actually started having people from Fortune 50 and FANG companies reaching out to him, offering him his dream jobs. And he accepted one of them at a Fortune 50 company. And at that time, he was making multiple six figures a year with a remote job. And he was able to travel the world and then live in Japan, living his dream life. But then the YouTube channel kept growing, and us helping him and him implementing our systems, he made it all the way to $186,000 in a single month. And I'm also going to talk about exactly how he did that in the live training launch I'm doing this week. So click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. And you guys can probably tell I'm very passionate about this because the truth is, this is so much more efficient than the modern education system. Like, there are so many jobs out there that people don't even know about in many cases. There's jobs that popped up in the last year that didn't even exist a couple of years ago, and nobody even knows about them. And they have massive shortages, and colleges probably won't even be teaching this stuff for another 10 or 15 years, right? So that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it's so good for the economy. Jobs pop up, there's lots of demand for those jobs, but nobody knows about them. And you can be the person who makes them aware. With that being said, let's move on to the next one, which is utility lineman. So this is the job that you only think about when your lights go out, but then it becomes the most important job in the world. Now, the Department of Energy found that 89% of companies building out our power grid can't find enough qualified workers. And Goldman Sachs says that the power industry may need 750,000 new workers by 2030 because data centers are slamming the grid. Now, part of what makes this shortage so catastrophic is that the job is genuinely dangerous. You're up a pole in the exact weather that everyone else is hiding from. And you can see exactly what I mean from a real lineman on YouTube named Bob's Decline, whose channel is just him working as a lineman and recording it so that people can see what a lineman does. And one of his videos titled Stealing Power shows him being called to check on a line because they were paying too much on their electric bill. And it turns out that someone was stealing power from that house. So he fixed it and recorded himself troubleshooting it. And that video, which was him literally just recording himself doing his job, probably took him an extra 5 or 10 minutes to post it on YouTube, made about $10,800 in revenue. And that's on top of the money that he received from troubleshooting that problem. And according to vidIQ, the channel pulls about $3.2 thousand a month from AdSense alone on top of his paycheck. And again, that's just AdSense alone. If he has any idea how to monetize the channel correctly, he could be making far more than that. And while searching for this job, I saw another lineman named David Wilkins, who filmed himself changing out an insulator on a high transmission structure, and that single video made over 6.3 million views. And according to TubeLab, the video alone made him $35,000 in revenue. And these are the people climbing the poles to keep your electricity flowing in all kinds of weather. Now, according to BLS, this particular position makes about $92,000 a year median pay. and the top 10% clears around 126,000. And that is before storm overtime, where the famous checks live. Now again, notice something that repeats all video. The jobs that nobody can fill are the exact jobs that millions of people love watching online. It's funny how supply and demand works, right? Empty seats on the crew, but packed house on the screen. All right, next is a heavy equipment operator. And the Associated General Contractors of America surveyed about 1,400 construction firms, and 92% of the ones hiring said they can't find qualified workers. Now, one reason that's so difficult to find people is that federal officials have failed to properly invest in construction workforce training and education. And that is why a channel called Let's Dig 18 is blowing up, because people want to know how these jobs work and what the things they do on the job are. And this channel is making about $16.6 thousand a month from AdSense, according to vidIQ. And again, that's just AdSense alone. And all they're doing is just filming and posting videos that he's doing anyways. And that is on top of the money that he makes from the job. And just one of his videos where he was operating a long reach excavator and he was dredging a canal got 27 million views and made $136,000. And again, this video probably took him like an extra 15 minutes to upload to YouTube, right? So that's pretty good pay per hour, $136,000 for 15 minutes of work. And the ceiling on this niche is stupidly high. For instance, Andrew Camerata runs his whole property maintenance business on a camera that he films himself operating this heavy equipment. And he makes about $13,000 a month from AdSense alone. And according to view stats, this video right here, installing a new driveway, got 30 million views and made $154,000. And these are basically the people who run excavators, dozers, and loaders that dig and build everything around you. Now, according to BLS, this position makes about $58,000 a year. Now, one of my brothers happens to do this as well. He started off as an equipment operator, and now he's a foreman. And I can tell you, he makes a lot more money than what BLS says. So when you see the figure, especially on BLS, the figure on the page is the floor, in many cases, not the ceiling. Official numbers oftentimes miss overtime, per diem, union benefits, side work, cash payments, etc., etc. So mark every tradesman's salary today up, not down. Now, I talked about two of my brothers here, but back to my brother Zach for a moment. I just want to emphasize the fact that I literally took a 50-year-old, right? A random 50-year-old in my family and blew him up on YouTube. And it's because I noticed two different trends. One, lots of different boring channels out there that just focus on solving simple problems for people. Many of them that are job related do exceptionally well on YouTube, even with pretty terrible content. And then two, haven't you noticed lately that older people are blowing up on YouTube significantly easier, right? It seems like an older person can post a video that has a terrible thumbnail, terrible title, terrible everything, and it still blows up. Well, there's a reason for that trend. And again, it comes down to supply and demand. There's a massive amount of demand for older people on the platform, both from the advertisers that want to advertise to older people. 50 and above owns about 70% of the wealth in the United States. And also because most of the people who post on YouTube are younger, right? So older people probably want to watch more people that are their age. And then younger people probably are tired of hearing from other younger people and they'd like to watch somebody who's older as well. And so I was very confident that I could just take somebody who's older in my family and apply the system that I built and blow their channel up right away. And that's exactly what I did. Zach went from zero to a full-time income in less than 1 month using my system. And this is the same exact system that I'm going to be giving away completely free in the live training that I'm doing this week. So click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. And again, I'm giving away an AI that will help you pick your niche, or if you already have a niche, it'll help you make your niche 10 times better. So do not miss out on it. There are limited seats. Last time we ran out, we literally had too many people for Zoom to accommodate. So click that link in the description in the pinned comment below and get your seat while you still can. And if you're watching this in the future, still click that link because it'll show you the next live training that we're doing. With that being said, I know that 99% of you are just gonna watch my videos, get a ton of value out of them, download the free resources, get a ton of value out of those, and attend my live trainings and get a ton of value out of those. And we are never gonna end up working together, and that is completely okay. I always wanna give 10 times, even 100 times more value than what I receive and expect nothing in return. With that being said, there's gonna be 1% of you out there, maybe even 0.1% of you out there that want a one-on-one hand-holding experience, right? You want one-on-one mentorship to help you grow your YouTube channel and your personal brand. Or you want us to literally just do the work for you. And right now we can accommodate 5 people to work directly with us. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and apply by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below, but only do it if you are very serious about growing and making money on YouTube. Of course, one-on-one coaching costs a lot of money to deliver, and so it is going to be expensive. And the types of people we typically work with are gonna be professionals with at least 10 years of experience, or people who are younger, but they're overachievers. Basically, people who have value to give on the internet, right? They actually have experience and wisdom wisdom that they can share with other people. But also business owners that want to get more views, get more leads, build their brand, get more sales, and generate more revenue from YouTube. We also work with YouTubers who have big channels, but they're struggling with monetization and they want help with that. We also work with YouTubers who are crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder. And then we also work with people who are big on other social media platforms, or they have large audiences and they want to bring it over to YouTube because they know that YouTube is the absolute best. But all those people have one thing in common, and that is that they want to treat their YouTube channel like a business. So if that sounds like you, click that link in the description and the pinned comment below to apply. I will tell you that we only accept about 18% of people who apply because we want to make sure that you're the type of person that we can get results for. With that being said, check out this video right here to see exactly how we helped Nurse Jen go from zero to a full-time income in just a couple months and quit her job and travel the country in her awesome camper van. And you can check that video out by clicking right here.